is blonde. Yeah, on this weekend, get me some Heineken Drive. Yeah, I'm gonna enjoy my weekend. Get me some Heineken, baby. It's time to enjoy ourselves. A grind on the dance floor, we're going up the gas station. Oh yeah, getting on this grind, this Final Fantasy grind. I'm trying to enjoy my weekend and get my freak on.
What's up, guys? It's your King of Knife. It's about time EX Turk coming back at you with a brand new movie review, Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Now, I will give this. I can't say I could give this an honest 10 out of 10, but a 9 out of 10 because this is the second best Star Wars film since Empire Strikes Back. Now, this will be a spoiler review, so there's a disclaimer right there. I even put it in the thing. So if you don't want to watch the rest of this video because you're afraid of being spoiled, then you need to leave right now. You need to get out of there. Move, shoot, get out of here. To the people who have already seen the movie and wants to hear it again, or don't care about spoilers, then get ready for this. Now, I think they try to cram too much of Empire Strikes Back and the Return of the Jedi type of themes, but also they've actually turned what Star Wars stereotypically is and turn it upside down, showing a gray viewpoint of the light and dark sides of the Force. Because it was all black and white before, there was only two sides, but there's a lot more now than there was before. But I think that's what they're trying to push too much. Like like how Snoke got killed by Kylo Ren was a lot like Darth Vader throwing the Emperor Palpatine. But then again, I think they probably should have saved Snoke for the last movie, instead of kill him off. Just then it had that feel to it, but they're really trying to take Star Wars in a different direction, and I kind of appreciate on the fact that they're making it into something completely different than it already has, and hence why some people didn't like the movie and said it was terrible. Just like in the one stream, that person that said it was terrible. I didn't really think it was terrible. Luke was a badass, In fact, they had more of Luke in this one, which made it even better on the fact that they had Luke in this one. Now, it took me by surprise that Kylo Ren took the mantle of the new Supreme Leader of the First Order, even though he's killed his captor, Supreme Leader Snoke. Now it's Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. Which, I guess that's why some people think it's a bad movie based off of that, because it took something different, which I like this a lot better than have the same thing, because if you look at the no offense, I love the Star Wars prequels, but if you look at the Star Wars prequels, and if you look at the original trilogy, the stereotypes are kind of the same, light side versus dark side. The dark side's full, it's full evil, the light side's full good, when really you gotta really dissect, the two sides and really pay attention, because, it's not just good enough if you use one of the other sides. That there's actually a lot more. Then also the fact that, I like, even though Luke was kind of a negative Nancy and was trying to be edgy in the beginning of the movie, Luke does have a point about one thing. The Force does not exclusively belong to the Jedi or the Sith. There are Force-sensitive, other Force-sensitive users too. If you remember in Rogue One, where they had that one Asian guy who is actually a Force of Wills, and then the fact that at the end scene where you see a kid using the broom kind of lifted a little bit of the rocks, meaning that pretty much the Force belongs to everybody. And I kind of like that concept better if you really think about it, because if you really go back to Episode 4, Luke started out as a nobody. Now, yes, granted, he is Anakin's son, but, pretty much Luke wanted to show that there's actually more sides of the Force than ever. Now, I didn't like that they killed Supreme Leader Snoke that fast. I mean, I kind of liked it and I didn't. I liked it, the fact that, because, Supreme Leader Snoke was actually a douchebag, dirtbag, ardent, like douchebag. I wanted to be killed. I mean, as my, because before I actually loved the character, now I actually hate the character, Supreme Leader Snoke. Now, as a villain standpoint, I like him as a villain, but, I hate his, character. But we didn't get to know, because they killed Supreme Leader Snoke a little bit in the middle of the movie, it just leaves us with questions of who he absolutely was. Now, yes, you can go to the aftermath and find out more and get clues, but we didn't get to know who Snoke was, which was very disappointing, All he knows is he's heavily involved with the Skywalker blood lineage. He even told Kylo the reason why he chose him is because he's a Skywalker, With that said, we didn't get to know who he was, which is kind of disappointing. It's still elusive mystery. Now, I'm happy we got to see him in the actual flesh. They didn't just kill a hologram and that was it. But it did. I can see why they killed him off, because they were trying to make a different type of storyline, because now Kylo Ren is the Supreme Leader. Even General Hux, a person who hates Kylo Ren, now acknowledges Kylo Ren, as Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. So it changed things for the better. Now, I know this is gonna really get some dislikes, and I'm gonna get cussed out, bitched out, and everything, but I think it's possible for a Reylo. Even though I don't like the idea of a Reylo, I think it's possible for a Reylo, because if you pay attention to the themes of the movie, I think in episode 9 she's gonna try to turn Kylo to the light side by making Kylo fall in love with her. And not only that, they're both equals on footing and everything, and they're like Force equals technically, Pretty much, not to mention, Rey actually defeated Kylo Ren in the first movie, so they're equals. They're complete equals. So I think it's possible they're also pushing in a Reylo, even though most of us hate the idea of a Reylo. It's probably most likely gonna happen. Now, what was badass is we got to see Leia actually use her Force potential. And she has used the Force potential before in the comics and other various of medias and novels, but we actually got to see a movie where Princess Leia used her Force ability to get back on the ship like it was nothing. Not only that, but I gotta say that Luke Skywalker was the beast in this movie, because Luke Skywalker actually fought Kylo Ren using a Force clone to replicate the feeling of an original thing. And he dodged all the gun bullets and pretty much bested Kylo Ren, or Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, and beat his ass pretty badly. Now, it's sad, which is a bad spoiler, Luke does die. But remember, he does become a Force ghost, because I think they also push Luke to be the new Ben Kenobi. Just a more darker theme Ben Kenobi, because this movie was actually dark. It was actually the darkest Star Wars film I've ever seen, even darker than Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. You got to see Rey use both light and dark side abilities, as well. Then you see that, Kylo's trying to recruit her on his side, but nonetheless, there's a lot of darkness in this film. It rivals of that of Final Fantasy Versus 13 type of darkness in this film, and I like it better because, let's be quite honest, I loved Episode 3, and Episode 3 was pretty dark, but it never touched this. This episode is by far the darkest episode and darkest chapter of the Star Wars movies. And I gotta give it a 9 out of 10 because they didn't give us clues of who Snoke was. And sorry, but Episode 5 is always gonna be the best one out of all of them. Just saying. And also, but otherwise, 9 is a good score for this movie. I think it's the best movie of the year. So may the crystal be with you, and go to the theater right now and watch Star Wars.